Hey guys, we're back with another video. I know it's been quite a while, but we're finally back, and today what you will see, we got slightly bit of a different car. This is a 2023 Ford Bronco Badlands Sasquatch. You know what that means? It's got the 35-inch tires. So we just came back from a 20-day off-road expedition. So we're gonna show you what the modifications that we liked, the modifications we didn't like, what we would recommend and what we would not recommend. So this might be a little bit of a longer video, so I'm gonna talk about our tent, which we'll let you know how we feel about that in the next video. So make sure you stay tuned or subscribe to the channel for that. But in this video we're going to talk about just all the small things. So our first one is going to be these lights. So we got these three, then we got that one, we got some on the inside, we'll show you in a second. But these right here, these two are diode dynamic lights. This one and that one are aux beam lights, and we'll put the link in the description for all those lights because they work pretty good. These, they claim to go 1,200 feet. I don't think they do. I didn't measure it, but they don't look like 1,200 feet to me. But they're still, they work good. And if you're going off-road out in the middle of nowhere, you're gonna need some lights. You may think the stock Bronco lights are bright, but they're not. They're not. You're gonna need something else. So if you would like, I can do a more in-depth video for all the lights, all the wiring, all that kind of stuff if you guys would like, but let me know in the comments if you'd like that. We got them on both sides. They work pretty good. Inside wise, we got these lights, and this wonderful car is dinging at me now, but we got these lights. Is super dark in the inside of this car with these two silly lights and that one silly light. So you're gonna need some other lights. We got these, came with 4, and we got them on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description for these. I believe they were $139, maybe $129, something along those lines. But definitely a must-have. They're pretty neat. They have a they plug in or daisy chain off of this little light here, and they have a little module for some reason, but it's pretty good. They go all 4 doors. They're bright enough. They work better than the stock lights at least. And then we got this light. You may say, where'd you get that thing? I got it from Harbor Freight. This thing was $3. I think I got it on Dollar Days or something, but it's just a little lantern, and it works pretty good for the inside of the tent. Works good. It's super cheap and it's bright enough. You don't need too much. But light wise, we got this light back here, which also aux light. We got the aux switches for all the lights up front. This light right here, we got a switch right here. Isn't that cool? We got a little battery setup. I'll get into that in a little bit. But it is great for the campsite. We got a little clamp from Harbor Freight right here. And then these, which I think are some other brand. I'll insert in here that I don't remember. And the wire just runs right inside. It works great for the campsite. We got 2. You really don't necessarily need 2, but if you're lighting up a lot more than one table, it's good. And it came with this little switch with the harness. It's pretty good too. But moving on, we have a water tank, because when you're washing dishes you need some running water. There you go. So let me hop up here, I'll show it to you. So this on Amazon was, I think this was $139, this water tank. It's just about 5 gallons, not quite, but it lasted probably a week and a half roundabout of washing dishes just about every day. So that tells you it's a decent amount of water for the amount of space it takes up. We did have to make these little bracket or these bolts with Lexan to hold it in, but so you can see that there. It had the little piece that goes underneath it there, but it didn't quite work with our roof rack, so we did have to change it up a little bit. But apart from that, it works great. We got about 20 feet of water hose that we had to use several adapters for. You'll be at Home Depot for a little while on that one, but it was for metric, standard, all that stuff. But it stretches to the other side of the campsite, which is good. It's got the little valve here, which you can't reach, so we got this valve here and a quick connect so we can take it off if you want. But overall, that's good little way to get running water to wash dishes and whatever else, wash blueberries, whatever you want it to do. But the thing with that thing is it's pressurized, so you might recognize this thing. This is a air compressor, the little cheap one from the back of a Stanley power box. I got the Stanley power box for free because it didn't work, but this thing does if you put a different battery on it. And you can see that it just powers right on. We ran some extra wire down to a little quick connect down to our battery, which you'll have to stay tuned to see, and it just goes onto our little valve thing up there, and it works good. Speaking of that battery, we also got this refrigerator here, which requires that battery power. So you can change the temperature right here on your cellular device. It goes down to -4. It shows you your battery voltage and all that stuff. It's pretty cool, but it's got a decent amount of space inside. It'd be just enough for your little road trip. It's got the little screen that tells you your temperature, power it on and off. There's your thing for your plug for the power. It works pretty good. You can turn the lid around as well, and this thing was $200. That's what it was, $200, which is a steal when you compare these to the ones the overlanders use, which are like $1,000 or more. People are crazy to spend that much when this thing worked good for $200. So that's the cooler. Now we got these RV levelers from Harbor Freight. These things, you may say, who needs that? I'll just sleep crooked. You don't want to sleep crooked. You'll regret it. These things, I think they were like 35, 40 bucks. They were fairly inexpensive for what they are, but they work good on these. They work good on the 35-inch tires. We'll just say that. If you have bigger tires, I don't know, but you guys probably don't if you're watching this video. So they work good. You just roll back on them or forward on them, whatever you want. There's 2 of them in a pack, and it's got the little I guess chocks that you put on the other side to hold the tire in. We never used them, but it has them if you need. Those are a must-have because you don't want to be sitting crooked, and unfortunately the earth is not flat. So moving on, we got an air compressor because if you know anything about off-roading, you don't want to be at 35 psi on the trail. It's rough and it damages your tires. So we got an air compressor to air back up, and then we got this 4 splitter. I call it a 4 splitter. I don't know what you call it, but it goes to all 4 tires, and it just splits your little input there, or your output to this little gauge here. Gauge, I don't know about its accuracy, but it works pretty decent. So you can see this little 4 splitter, I'm gonna still call it. It's got a little quick connect, and that thing works great. Oh, that's just all the racket over there. So it works good for airing down. You just pull this out, all 4 get to the same psi, super quick, under 3 to 5 minutes. And then airing back up, it's just as quick, maybe up to 5 minutes airing back up with this 12 something another CFM machine here. This thing is much less than all the other ones that the overlanders use. Is a pretty good deal. I don't know if it's actually 12 CFM, but that's what it claims to be, and it works pretty good. It works quick enough. I wouldn't expect it to work any faster. But only complaint with this is it actually has this end on it, and this also has this end on it, so we had to make one of these little adapters, which that's fine. Just more bulkiness, I guess. It did not initially come with this little quick connect thing. We added this. It came with the little alligator clips. They go on your battery. There we go. So unfortunately, this battery doesn't even have a lot of space for one of those little clips, which you'd find a place, but it's just much easier to have your little quick connect run all the way down to right here. So you can just unplug it, plug it back in. It sticks right here perfect. It never moved at all with this little cover on it. These things are cheap. I'll put that in the description too. But you can see it just covers, protects it from water and all that. And then we got the wires running inside that go to our little solenoid and relay back there. You can see those. We'll do a video separately on all that if you guys are interested. That's pretty good. It just allows us to use the little aux switches on the inside. So we'll put in the comments if you'd like to see that, and we'll do something about that. But that's the air compressor. Description, link in the description for all that stuff. It works great. It does leak a little bit. I don't know if that's user error or what, or we dropped it or something. I don't know. I almost forgot. So the price on this thing, the splitter, is like 80 bucks. Now if you go compare that with any other brand, you're looking at a very significant difference in price. This thing is super cheap. So for that little leakage, I think it's worth it. You can even buy a fitting for it if you want to replace it for like $1, $2. But moving on, we got I'll just talk about these real quick. These things are great. These things were, I don't remember how much they were, but not too much, and they're super sturdy. They just go onto the two existing bolts on the inside. You can kind of see that in there. They work good, just to hold you in place when you're moving side to side for hours on end. They're pretty good. All right, and moving on, we got these little mud flaps here. So we did like you could call it a pre-run a couple weeks ago, and realized that it's not as bad off-road, but when you go back on the road after going on like a gravel road, all the rocks that got in the tire, they're all flinging onto your rock rails. And these are pretty wide tires. We don't want any rocks going up to our wonderful paint. So we got these mud flaps. They were 200 bucks from WeatherTech. That's the company that makes your floor mats. So these things are pretty good. They're pretty rigid, and just from experience, we hit these things many times on rocks, and they are still, you can see a little rubbage on the bottom, but these things held up very well. They did not break at all, and we hit them many times. They bolt in all existing bolt hole or little holes, so they work pretty good. And I'll put the link in the description for those. We didn't have any rocks fly up after we put those in, so pretty happy with that. Moving on, we got these rock rails. These are actually stock rock rails, so there's not much to say about them. But when we bought the car, we bought it used. It had aftermarket rock rails with the little step, and those steps, if you have those, don't go off-road with them, or at least not rugged or off-road, because you're gonna get stuck. It had the two steps here, you're gonna get stuck right in the middle on a big rock. You don't want that happening. So I actually got these from a junkyard, and unfortunately, oh, look at all that mud. I haven't been down here yet. Unfortunately, they did not bolt up perfectly. I'm not sure if that's a different package, like a Outer Banks Badlands type thing, but these did not bolt up. There's a big gap right here. And I'll insert a picture of what my little bracket looks like, since you can't tell at all with all the mud. But I had to weld that up and fabricate it at 4:30 a.m. before we left on our trip. So I wouldn't recommend that part, but they work good. We actually hit them maybe once or twice. We didn't hit them too often, but we're very happy that we did not hit our ones with the step, so that they get all scratched up and all that, and so that they didn't get stuck. But moving on, that's our rock rails. Not too much to say about them, because I said they're the stock ones, so not too much to say about that. Now moving on to something that isn't necessarily our favorite part of our modifications, is these right here, these little bump stops. These things is a great idea, poor execution. Now I like Turn Off-Road. They package things real good, but these things I've seen better. Well, I haven't, but I would like to see better from them, because these things, they just pop right in, meaning they're gonna pop right out. This one, you can see it popped out maybe 2 or 3 days into our trip, and you might wonder why we even got these. Well, when your door flings open, when you have a gas tank on here, it's gonna hit your tail light, and most definitely is gonna hit your tail light. So we got the bump stops just so the door stops. It worked for the most part the first day or two, but then I said 3 days in, it just fell off. So for the price, you'd expect better, especially from Turn Off-Road. Maybe it's just us, maybe it's them, I don't know, but that's just that. So first thing that we are not particularly happy with. Second thing we're most not particularly happy with is this right here. You can see, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's crooked. Now I'm not sure if these were sold, maybe they just weren't sold as compatible with the 35-inch tires, but it scrubs right here, and so it sits crooked, which isn't the end of the world, but you'd expect better, especially from Turn Off-Road. These are Turn Off-Road things. I was very happy with the company before I got these two products. They just bolt onto your two pre-existing holes there for your little hinge, and then we got this gas tank. This is an not super expensive one, but it costs a lot. We'll just say that. For anything that says Roto Packs, you know it's going to cost a lot. So this is 3 gallons. We actually did not end up needing it, but if you're going off-road, especially out in the boonies where we went, you're going to need some gas, some extra gas, just in case. So we just got the 3 gallons. I ended up not using it, but it was good to have. It's got a little lock, so all the thievery people don't steal. And it's kind of a weird mechanism. Maybe you've used it before, maybe you haven't, but you'll figure it out eventually. And that way, you just pull your gas tank right off, just like that. Wow. It's an okay design, I guess. Not how I would have done it, but that's how they made it. Moving on, we got this trash bag. This is All Top again. All Top, we didn't realize, but they make some pretty inexpensive accessories. This one, for one, is pretty good. You might say, why am I needing this bag on the back of my tire? Well, it does work pretty good for your trash. We filled it up several times. It's just good not to smell up the car. But if you're camping, obviously you don't want to keep this on the back, because all the bears are gonna come right to your campsite, and you don't want that. So you are gonna stink up your car in the middle of the night. I'd like if someone solved an issue for that, apart from hanging it in a tree, but that seems to be your only solution. But it works good. It was pretty mid-priced, I guess. And moving on to our next addition is these right here. So these right here are from Barnes 4-wheel drive, and they look dirty because they are. You can't really see them. They got all muddy, but they are probably a good idea. I wouldn't say a must-have, but a very good idea for if you're going off-road, because the shock right here, your shock mount, it's super unprotected. And you also got the little reservoir or whatever you call it right there, that's just gonna get knocked by rocks. We hit this a couple times up there and scraped it, so you know this is gonna get hit as well right here. So these mounts are a good idea. I don't remember how much they are. I'll insert it in the video, but I'll put the link in the description for these because they worked really good. But yeah, no complaints about those. Alright, so now that you've stuck around to the end of the video, you get to find out about our battery rig. So this right here is a Duracell 44 amp hour battery, and it is more than enough for overnight use. I wouldn't trust it 2 days maybe, but it works great for powering the cooler and all those other lights and all the other stuff I showed you earlier in the video. It works great. You can see all of our all of our lugs there for all the attachment or accessories we got plugged into it. But it worked great for what we needed it to. So it tells you your current volt. I got a little meter here that tells you your voltage and how many amp hours you used and all that stuff. Very happy about all that. We got an inverter here. I wouldn't say it's a must-have, but if you're ever needing to power a computer or anything like that overnight, this inverter is great. During the day, technically you could just use the car outlet, but this inverter is a good idea for that. And then we got a power strip here. Yeah, I got a power strip in my car, but Ford has their outlet here. That's it worked good, but I just wanted a downward, whatever you call it, 90-degree thing plug for my so it didn't get knocked out or anything like that. And it goes down here to a power strip, and in that power strip is a battery charger, because you have to charge your battery or it's gonna die. So every day when we drove, it charged. Anytime the car was on, it was charging, and anytime the car was off, the battery was just running. That was a super great rig. I'm very happy with all that stuff. I'll put a link in the description for all that junk too. But that is pretty much it. Again, we're going to talk more about our roof rack and rooftop tent. That was loud. In our next video, because it deserves a whole video. It's gonna be a long video probably, but there's just a lot of stuff to talk about that. And just for a little reference, these straps can tell you a little bit about what you're gonna see in that video, but what you get, we'll let you stay tuned to see about that. But I think that's just about it for this video. Just trying to think. But yeah. Oh, I forgot. We got a bull bar. This thing right here. It bolts all in factory holes, all factory hardware, all that stuff, and it just looks cool, doesn't it? Look at that. It looks so much better than how it did stock. On that topic, we got this winch mount or winch plate here. Look into another video on that if you guys are interested. It got the you had to get the camera relocation and the cruise control, lane centering, all that stuff, module relocation kit, and that's just extra stuff you have to get when you get a winch. But that is what it is. I had a GoPro on the front. Maybe if you guys watch my other channel, you know I film everything. But so that's how I mount my GoPro, on my old roll cage, 2-inch roll cage GoPro mount. And then on the inside, I've got, I don't know if you, we got this right here. It just converts the battery to a 5-volt output here for your USB. And that's how I charge my GoPro, because if you know anything about GoPros, the batteries stink, the camera stinks, and everything else about it stinks. Sorry, it is what it is. But that's just how I charge it. I used to use the media mod before it broke on me. I used to have a live signal on the inside, but it broke. So typical GoPro. And I had my HDMI cable run all the way to the inside for my little monitor, little 7-inch monitor, just on to view the live footage. But that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys would like to see more in depth of anything else, just let me know in the comments. And again, that tent and roof rack, we're gonna have a whole video on that, because it's gonna be a great video, I know it. So thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe to see that roof rack video.